Hello, all my chickadees. Welcome back to my nest. Today we're going to be playing another winter jam game, and this one is called Chilling Devotion. Hmm. He he blinks. He blinks. That's so cool. I love this opening animation here for the title screen, like the snow blowing by and him blinking. It's so cool. Um Yeah, this is another yandere boy. We're on a roll. So I'm very excited for this. This isn't a complete game, from what I gather. This is just day one. So the dev is going to be like updating it with like more days as we go. Which is totally fine. Like that's how like Mushroom Oasis and a couple of other games do it, like You and Him and stuff like that, which is totally fine. I love it because it gives the dev time to fully flesh out the story and work on each bit, and then we get to like all these bite-sized pieces that just always leave us wanting more, and is amazing. But alrighty, let me see. I need to move back to my normal spot. What am I doing over here? Oh no. Okay, let's see. Boop. Okay. Okay, I'm over here. We're good. Okay, let's get started. Day 1. Unexpected guest. The car engine purred softly as it glided along the snow-covered road, creating a rhythmic hum that harmonized with the tranquility of the winter landscape. The world outside seemed hushed and still, as if nature itself had been silenced by the blanket of pristine snow. Through the windshield, the scene unfolded like a postcard, come to life. Ah, no, go back. The snow laden trees stood tall, their branches delicately adorned with glistening crystals. Let's see. How's the volume going for you guys? Ah, it's fine. It's fine. Each limb reached out towards the sky, as if yearning to touch the falling snowflakes. The weight of the snow bent some branches, creating graceful arches that framed the road ahead. As the car made its way through the winter wonderland, the snowscape seems to stretch out infinity in every direction. Infinitely in every direction. The vastness of the scenery was both awe-inspiring and humbling. You continue to look around in wonder from the warmth and comfort of your vehicle. For you, this is a whole new experience coming from a busy city life. Little Cub Cabin Retreat. It was advertised as the coziest escape in the heart of snowy mountain wilderness. Unplug and experience tranquility and the unforgettable views of snow-capped peaks and towering pine trees right outside your window. It sounded exactly what you needed at the time, and you immediately booked a cabin for just for a week. You look down in its direction again. Turn onto Little Cub Trail, and it's the first cabin on the left. You slow the car as you approach a sign. Some of the letters of Little Cub peek out from under the snow. You turn onto the trail, and your car bumps along the unpaved snowy dirt path. You look around attentively for the first cabin you see through the increasing snowfall. So much for the forecast of light snow today. Hopefully you get there soon in case the snow gets worse. Oh, look at the little cabin. Dang, it really is coming down. You've been looking forward to this getaway for a couple of weeks, and finally you pull up to a cabin. Now, the idea of a private snowy cabin makes you, first choice. Okay. Lonely, relaxed, nervous, excited. I'm gonna say excited because we booked this vacation. You're excited. You've been looking forward to this ever since you booked it. Everything is so new and fascinating, and you've mentally planned out various activities you should do. from staying by the fire with a good book, or hiking to see some of the snow-capped peaks. There would be something for whatever mood you'd be in. Maybe just catching up on sleep and resting would be enough to look forward to. You slow down and squint through the falling snow, trying to make out the numbers on the cabin. The snow had covered the signs, but this one looked like the picture in the booking, so you pulled up to the snow-covered paths. You feel relieved to have finally arrived. The drive up the mountain was like a rainbow road, and then the snow, while beautiful, made for a more challenging drive. Your little cabin is surrounded by trees with your nearest neighbor, about another hour down the trail. A large stretch of wilderness ensures you plenty of privacy. You hurriedly lug your stuff out of your car and up to the cabin. It's not much, just a suitcase for the week. I mean, what can go wrong? What can possibly go wrong? We're here in this lovely snow-covered cabin in the middle of nowhere. You know, nothing's gonna go wrong, right? Mm-mm. The icy environment chills the delicate skin on your face. You bound up to the cabin, eager to get out of the cold. Ah, it's already unlocked. Is this normal for remote cabins? Well, did they give us a key? Oh, it is cozy in here. As you step inside, the warmth of being out of the elements immediately greets you. But it could certainly be warmer. You set down your things by the door and quickly set about lighting a fire in the fireplace. There's some wood and a lighter by the hearth conveniently. You take in the cabin's interior, and it's as cozy as described, if not a bit more messy than expected. Did they not clean up the place? There's stuff laid out on the table. Are we in the right cabin? Did we maybe miss a cabin or, a road on the way in? Because, I think somebody lives here. Looks like the place hadn't been swept in a while, too. But it feels very lived in and ready to move in. The warm glow from the hearth dancing across the rustic wooden walls and furniture were cozy and inviting. Some books are resting on the worn wooden table and shelves. You hurried over to inspect the tiny kitchenette, and you're pleasantly surprised that it's fully stocked. Wow, it looks like mystery meat and a lot of junk food. Still, that's pretty generous of the people running this place. You had expected to get food later in town when the snow let up. It's a bit of a drive, but there's a small town with a grocery store around here. You can look more closely around the rest of the cabin later. Right now, you just wanted a warm drink. You look in the kitchen's drawer and find a couple of options to choose from. What do you want to drink? Alright. I mean, you guys know me. We're gonna go with tea. You grab a packet for an instant tea. Then you find a pot and start to heat some water on the gas stove. It's been a while since you've used one of these. You check your phone and there's no signal. You do spot a landline in the cabinet if you need to call anyone. Been a while since you've seen one of those too. Another reminder of how far from civilization you are. The pot of water simmers on the stove and you pour some into a cup for your tea. The smell of tea fills the room and the warmth from the cup warms your frozen hands. The windows rattle suddenly and you jump from your thoughts. The snowing from earlier had really picked up into a storm now, the heavy fall of snow blurring the landscape out the window. I mean, it's good we got inside before it got worse. The wind howls and rattles the window again. The sharp, erratic bursts make you flinch every time. Snow now slams against the cabin in chaotic flurries. You wonder if the windows would hold against the storm's fury. That's a bit concerning, but it's a perfect contrast to the safety of the cabin. The cabin was a small sanctuary that was holding back the icy wilderness beyond its walls. Luckily, you have food here, and made it before the weather took a turn for the worse. Hey, kitty, you want to come join us? Come on. Hello, kitty. Hi. Oh, hello. You gonna join me? Hi. Oh. We got a kitty with us. Snowed in or not, you were planning on bunkering down here initially anyway. Just as you started settling in near the hearth with your hot drink, there was a knock on the door. Who's going to be knocking out here in the middle of nowhere with it being a cold snowstorm? You snap your head towards the sound and you feel your heart racing with fear. You weren't expecting anyone, and the thought of a stranger out here in the middle of nowhere during a snowstorm sent a shiver down your spine. But maybe it was the cabin host, or someone that needed help. What are you doing, kitty? What are you doing? You set down your drink on the table gently and look towards your door. What will you do now? Oh God, I can't. Okay, can I, ask who it is? Who is it? You try to calm your nerves while you wait for an answer. It was a quick time event! And an answer doesn't come. There's no peephole in the door, so you can't see who it is from the door. Eventually, you quietly sneak over to the window and try to peek out, but you don't see anyone. It's hard to see with the snow already frosting the glass and forming an ice crust along the edges of the pane. Hopefully, whoever it was just left. Maybe they got the wrong place. I mean, we can hope. As you're about to return to your seat, you hear the click of a lock. They have a key! Time slows and your body tenses from the noise. The hinges of the door creak open as the biting and the cold wind rushes in. The snow briefly obscures your vision as it flurries towards you. Hello! Okay, am I the only one that thinks he's cute? I'm already like, he is so cute. Just something about Mask, you know. Look at those blue eyes. And there's a tall, looming figure looms over you before you can act. Your mind races with fear and uncertainty. Who were they? What do they want? You take a hesitant step back, your heart pounding in your chest. Oh, look at the little, breath cloud. That is so cool. I love it that it's animated. You wait for them to speak, to move, to do anything. But they just stand there, unmoving like a statue. His eyes glint faintly as they fixed on you. The intensity is heavy enough to make you shiver. You can't help but feel trapped under his gaze. As you're about to utter a word, the stranger's voice finally cuts through the silence. It's a deep voice that matches his intimidating form. There's a slight southern drawl to it. What are you doing in my house? Huh? Oh, he looks so cute here. I mean, that is exactly how we bundle up here in the South when it gets cold enough. The stranger's masked face remains unreadable as they shut the door behind them, sealing you both inside. The stranger pulls down his mask to reveal his face. Oh, hey! Oh, I even like your style. Heck yeah. He begins dusting off the snow from the clothes and goes to hang up his overcoat by the door naturally. I'm Jim. This is my place. You stare speechlessly at the casual statement, as if not aware of the scare he just gave you. What's your name? What is your name? Sparrow! My name is Sparrow. He seems to notice your shock now, and gestures for you to take a seat by the fireplace. You stiffly follow his suggestion and sit down in a chair with a creak. Hey, oh, he's got a pierced ear! Oh, he is cute. Okay, I like him. He's cute. He is definitely cute. He takes off a hat and dusts off the snow before following you and taking a seat as well. You're both sitting by the hearth now. After your misunderstanding, you feel a mixture of adrenaline and embarrassment. I'm, real sorry about before. Okay. We can save now. It was quick time last time. Accept his apologies. Scold him for scaring you. Apologize as well. I think we need to apologize as well because we didn't... I'm so sorry. I must have gotten turned around in the snow. It's okay. These things happen sometimes. You're a bit taken back by the contrast of the man in front of you and your first impression of him. I'm still confused about what happened. Jim thinks for a moment and speaks more quietly, maybe more self-conscious about how his voice sounds. His voice still comes out as a low rumble. Were you trying to go to that tiny bear house? You mean the little cub cabin? Then yes. Right. You went way too far down the trail then. Probably missed it with all the snow and pines. Easy to happen when the snow gets like this. Your face burned with embarrassment at your mistake and the whole misunderstanding. So much for a relaxing getaway. That makes sense. I'll leave as soon as I can. An awkward silence stretches between you two until Jim speaks up again. We totally missed the road and we went down and we just got in this guy's house. We're just like, oh yeah, this looks right. I wonder how many times this has happened. He's like, you were going there, weren't you? An awkward silence stretches between you two until Jim speaks up again. I think the storm will pass in a couple of days. You can stay here until then. A couple of days? As if you have a choice, but now you feel even more grateful after inconveniencing your cabin neighbor. At least he seems to be more nonchalant about the whole situation. Thank you so much. Jim nods, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. It can get lonely out here sometimes. Haven't had company in a long time. You nod back, feeling a bit more at ease now that you know he's not some deranged stranger. If anything, you were the stranger in his house now, and yet he is being so welcoming. Jim gestures to the pot on the stove and gets up from his chair. I'll have some hot cocoa too, after all that. Want your tea reheated since you've helped yourself to some already? I'm sorry, we thought it was our place. You groan at any reminders of your unfortunate beginnings here. That and you smile, then you smile gratefully. Sure, thanks. Things are still pretty awkward, but it was kind of sweet that he was trying to be a good host. Oh, and feel free to put your things in the spare room over there on your right. My room's the one on your left. It's not much, but you're safe here. You smile at his reassurance and move to take your things to your room while he reheats your drink. Oh, look, this is nice and cozy. I bet that quilt is so warm. The room is small, but just as cozy as the rest of the cabin. Simple with its furnishings, but it's all you need. It's minimally decorated like the rest of the cabin, but it has a bed, a nightstand, and a lamp. And now it has your suitcase and belongings in a corner. You sit down on the bed with a creak. The bed feels impossibly soft beneath you, urging your tense muscles from earlier to uncoil. You let out a long breath and your hand traces absent-mindedly over the quilted blanket. Its fabric is worn but comforting. What a situation. You hear the muffled chattering of Jim in the kitchen as snow battering against the walls. This is not what you expected at all, but hopefully it'll be okay. Your tea is ready. Jim's voice from the other room pulls you from your thoughts and you get up to join him. He's being so nice to this random person that, broke into his house. Also, Jim, why did you leave the door unlocked? Was he just, like, outside somewhere? Okay. You sit across from Jim as he hands you a reheated tea. Jim cradles his own mug in his hands, savoring the warmth before taking little sips. His posture is more relaxed, but still seems a bit shy. You get a better look at him now that things are less intense. His hair is damp and disheveled from the snowstorm, and he keeps it pretty long. His eyes flick to you occasionally before glancing back down at his drink. Sorry, I'm not used to having company, I guess. What do you do? Okay, ask him some questions, continue the silence. Ask him if he'd like to talk or stay silent. Yeah, ask him. That's alright. I'm, quite the unexpected guest right now. What would you prefer? We could just enjoy the silence if you like. Oh, well, of course I don't mind not talking. But since this is a bit of a special occasion, I like to try talking. If that's alright with you. I'm not really sure where to start, though. Jim looks at you expectantly. He's hopeful you'll start the conversation. So... Oh goodness, we got a lot. Okay, maybe we can ask all of it. So... What were you doing outside just now? Just checking on some traps I set out in the woods nearby. Traps? What do you mean? Traps are small game, like rabbits and such, mostly. Nothing in the traps today. Probably all hiding from the storm. I mean, yeah, he's up here in the middle of nowhere. Of course he's gonna be, like, trying to trap, some food. Oh, I see. That would explain the mysterious meat in the fridge earlier. So... Do you live out here all the time? He glances at you and then answers while looking into the fire. Used to not be all the time. Just when I needed to get away. But now, yeah, this is where I live. I wonder what happened. What happened, buddy? His voice is steady, but there's something vulnerable in his tone. Like he's not used to explaining himself. Get away from what? Everything. The noise, the people, it's just too much. Oh, this is different. Okay. I understand. Me too. I get that sometimes. I don't get that. You nod, feeling a strange sense of understanding. I get it. That's why I wanted to come out here too. Just needed a break from it all. I wish I could be away all the time, but I have responsibilities. Jim's lips twitch into a faint smile, and for the first time since talking, his gaze holds yours for a while. And instead, you end up in the wrong cabin. Your cheeks warm as you let out a soft laugh. Yeah, not exactly the peaceful getaway I had in mind. You're surprised by the rich depth of his chuckle. Despite how he tried to quieten it, it sends a pleasant warmth through you. Well, I guess it's not every day you accidentally break into someone else's house. The initial tension between you is melted away as you both laugh about it. I hope you get what you came here for. You can't help but smile at his gentle words. So, okay, we can't ask the other questions. The storm seems pretty rough. Yeah, but it should calm down in a day or two. And if you want, I can make sure you get into the right cabin then. Yes, please. Yes, please, or we'll end up in a totally different cabin somewhere. I like that. For now, though, you're content to stay here. The quiet man in front of you doesn't seem as bad as you first thought. The mountain weather can be unpredictable. One moment is clear, then dangerous in an instant. It's snowing a bit early this year, but it's not uncommon. The snow falls hard in the wind, while it howls like it's got something to prove. You nod along at his explanation. You weren't aware of how it was in the mountain. He lets out a soft sigh before continuing, running a hand through his messy hair. I knew the second I saw you that you were not used to this. If you don't know what you're doing and you try to go out there, well, you're pretty much asking for trouble then. You notice a shift in his tone when talking about the storm. There's something protective about it. Like he's trying to prepare you, or maybe even shield you from the wildness of the mountain. Just wait it out. Don't venture out if you don't have to. The storm outside wails a bit louder for a moment, as if protesting, and Jim shifts his gaze out of the window. I've been stuck in here before. You just get used to it, and then it's not so bad. You take in his words. You get the impression that he's used to navigating the chaos of the mountain, and with him, maybe you could too. So, what do you do out here? I like to be in nature and be alone. Yeah? Like hiking? I hunt and fish when the weather's better. Sometimes I make stuff. There's a town a ways from here, but I mostly just keep to myself. His eyes dart nervously around, and you get the impression that he's not used to talking about himself like this. How long have you been up here, buddy? You decide not to get into it for now, for his sake, but you are curious. He seems like the type to say things when he's ready. So, okay, you said you don't see many people around here. Yeah. To be honest, you're the first person I've really talked to in a couple of months. Other than when I'm picking up supplies in town. He awkwardly shifts in his seat and rubs the back of his neck like he's unsure of how to continue. I guess you could probably tell with how out of practice I am with the social stuff. He gives a dry laugh, but it's not exactly a happy one. The isolation, it's easier this way. And I've never minded being by myself. It's peaceful. I don't generally like people, but it's been nice talking with you. This emission lingers in the air as you both take it in. You're touched by his openness and vulnerability in the moment. Well, I'm glad I could be the one you talk to. Jim smiles at this and takes another shy sip from his mug. A moment of warmth settles between both of you and you feel a bit closer. So, okay, we're done asking questions. You're done asking questions for now. You both finish up the rest of your drinks in silence. Jim looks at you and finally asks you a question himself. So, how are you feeling about being stuck here? He quickly looks away again while anticipating your answer. He has a complicated look on his face. You wonder why that is. He's a hard man to read. I mean, we're gonna be stuck with him for a few days. I guess he wants to know. You like it here so far, but look forward to leaving. You can't wait to leave and get away from this guy. You would like to stay here longer. You don't want to say anything for now. We want to stay. I actually really like it here. I could see myself spending my whole stay here, honestly. It's been nice having you as company. Oh, look, his eyes got wider. I'll be honest too. I've been liking your company too. What I'm trying to say is, you could stay here longer if you want, but you don't gotta decide now, and maybe your feelings will change. Though, I'm happy you feel that way right now. You smile at his flustered but sincere response. You guess you'll have to see how things go. Jim looks back into the flickering embers of the fire and seems to be weighing your response in his head. You wonder what he's thinking, but can't bring yourself to interrupt his thoughts. You ultimately look into the fire too. The dancing flames lull you into its trance as your mind wanders. The time flows and the sun disappears from the sky, and you both are left with a dying fire. At some point, you find yourself watching him. His features are softer in the firelight, warmer too than before. He looks much more friendly now that he's taken off his outerwear and is relaxing in a more casual outfit. He doesn't seem to talk much, but his voice carries a quiet intensity, like every word matters. He glances at you and catches you staring. You quickly look down at your empty mug, feeling the heat rise in your face from being caught. He doesn't say anything at first, but now you feel him observing you back. What? Nothing. You're handsome. Sorry. You're handsome. I was just thinking how handsome you are. As the words come out of your mouth, Jim's eyes widen for a moment. His cheeks flush a soft shade of red, and he shifts awkwardly in his seat and looks back to the fire as if it can offer him some comfort. Thanks. He clears his throat and then raises his gaze slightly up to you again. I don't really get called that a lot. There's something incredibly endearing about his genuine nervousness. But, I guess I'll take it. It's a very nice thing of you to say. He lets out a slow breath and glances at you. You're not so bad yourself, you know. Jim looks into his empty mug, now cold. Well, I think I'll call it a night. Jim gets up and holds out a hand to take my empty mug from me, too, trying to be a gracious host to you. Oh, thank you. You give him your cup, too, and his lips curve into a small smile. He walks to the kitchen and places both your mugs in the tiny sink there with a click. Jim goes over to the hearth and puts out the rest of the fire before heading to his room. You get up and walk over to your room. You peer out to Jim, closing the door to your room. Jim lingers by his door and glances back at you. Okay, well, good night, Sparrow. Good night, Jim. Your door creaks as you close it all the way, and you turn towards what will be your room in the next couple of days. That was much nicer than how your first meeting started. You change into your sleeping clothes and jump under the covers for warmth. The storm is still raging outside as much as it was earlier. You close your eyes and soon the storm outside starts to sound like white noise. The events of the day are taking their toll on you. Mostly, you feel... Let's see... Why don't we go attraction? I'm following the hearts. Honestly, you're a bit attracted to Jim. He has been not what you expected, and you're looking forward to learning more about him. As you think of how you feel, you drift off to sleep wondering what the rest of the week has in store for you. We like Jim. Thanks for playing. Let us know what you think so far on the Itch.io page. Yeah, I'm going to have a link down below so you guys can go check it out for yourself. I like it. I like it. Is there more than one end so far, or is that just one so far? Okay, it doesn't say anything about more different endings. But we can, like, I think it's probably going to end the same way, just with different moods to roll into the next one. But I am curious what would happen if we... Okay, we can still stay excited here, so skip. Let's have tea. That didn't seem like a big thing. Stay quiet, ignore the lock. You hold your breath and wait to see what happens. For what feels like a couple of minutes, there's no other knocking or sounds over the freezing wind. Okay, so we still peek outside. As you're about to return to your seat, you hear the click of the lock. Okay, this looks like the same. Okay, it looks like it's gonna be the same, probably just like a different... Okay. So, I think it's just like different ways to go forward. Because I don't think there is a solid ending. Because it's supposed to roll into the next day. Let's see, let's pick coffee. Open the door! What happens if we just open the door? You take a deep breath and make your way to the door, stilling yourself for whoever's on the other side. Hi, can I help you? The figure says nothing, the silence somehow chilling the air further. You reflexively take a step back and grip the door's handle, ready to slam the door shut and lock it. Oh! The stranger seems to notice this and slams his hand on the door, preventing you from closing it. At the sudden movement, you freeze. Attack! You don't think you can win a fight against this man, but maybe you can catch him by surprise and get the upper hand. With adrenaline coursing through your veins, you lunge at the stranger. But the man's reflexes are faster than you anticipated. He easily dodges your attack and he catches your arm to stop you. I wouldn't try that again if I were you. His hands are strong but not painful, and they anchor you firmly in place in front of him. His face is unreadable. Neither angry or amused, just unreadable. The storm outside howls louder as if taunting you in this situation. What do you do now? Okay, this isn't quick time. Oh my god, this is different. Yay! Okay, struggle. You try and pull against his gloved hand, but it's no use. The stranger is much stronger than you. You're not going anywhere. A chill runs through you, so you hear that low and menacing voice. There's a slight southern draw to it. His words hang heavy in the air, mingled with your labored breath and the roars of the wind. Just as you're about to pass out from stress, the stranger adds matter-of-factly. Especially not in this weather. There's a snowstorm. You won't survive out there alone. You won't even make it 5 minutes in the storm by the look of you. Huh? He suddenly lets go of you as if surprised by his actions. The action is so sudden that you stumble back into the cabin's interior and the stranger takes a step in. What's your name? Okay, so... You're both sitting by the hearth now after your misunderstanding. You feel a mixture of adrenaline and embarrassment. I'm real sorry about before. Scold him for scaring you? You really scared me. He looks down even more guiltily. I've been told I have that effect on people sometimes. Yeah, with the look and the silence and that voice. You're a bit taken back at the contrast to the man in front of you and your first impression of him. I'm so confused about what happened. Okay. Okay, so this looks the same. Continue the silence. You don't mind the silence, and it seems like Jim doesn't either. Soon the silence stretches long enough to become a comfortable one rather than an awkward lull. You both enjoy your drinks and warm up together by the fire. How do I feel about being stuck here? You can't wait to leave and get away from this guy. I'd really like to go the second the weather allows it. Right. I'll make sure to let you know as soon as that happens. It can't be helped that you're unwillingly stuck here. So far it's been okay, but you don't want to push your luck. He's still a complete stranger, and you don't want to be stuck in such a small space with him. You did come here for a private getaway, after all. We're so ungrateful. He glances at... Okay, we've seen this. What? Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. I was just zoning out. You were mindlessly staring for a little too long before you had even realized it. That's alright. No harm, no foul. You can stare. I don't mind. Do you? Do you? You were, just kinda obvious about it. He's surprisingly easygoing despite first impressions. His words ease the embarrassment just a little. I get lost in my thoughts sometimes. Well, who doesn't every now and then? He's still trying to be nice to us even though we're so rude. Mostly you feel wary. You're feeling wary about this whole situation with Jim and being snowed in with him. There's just so many unknowns that you have to deal with now. This is turning out to be much more complicated getaway than you bargained for. As you think about how you feel, you drift off to sleep wondering what the rest of the week has in store for you. Okay. Like, I think there is a few other things, like different dialogues we could get, but I am going to end this here, so I'm going to leave it up to you guys to go find the other bits of dialogue. I like it. I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops. I think what we choose on the first day will probably affect day 2, so it's going to be very important. I do want to go with being our first run through, being like, hey, handsome, because, you know, we gotta get him obsessed with us, right? It's a yandere game. That's what it's about. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the link's gonna be down below, so you can go check out the game for yourself. And I would appreciate it if you considered leaving a like or a comment down below, so I know you guys are looking forward to more of this game. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.